What if I told you that the world's greatest heroes aren't doctors, lawyers, or engineers? They're the people who created them. Every successful person you've ever admired had one thing in common: a teacher who believed in them before anyone else did. But only a few teachers have the habits that truly change lives. In this video, you'll discover the 12 habits that separate ordinary teachers from unforgettable ones. Stay with me until the end, because the last habit is the one that creates extraordinary people.
Silent teacher legacy. A great teacher is not remembered because of loud words, but because of the quiet impact left on countless lives. Every doctor who saves a patient, every engineer who builds a bridge, every lawyer who fights for justice, and every scientist who changes the world once sat in a classroom, listening to someone who believed in them before anyone else did. Psychology explains that encouragement at the right moment can permanently shape a person's confidence and future decisions. A teacher does much more than explain lessons. They build character, strengthen discipline, and inspire courage during moments of self-doubt. Many successful people admit they almost gave up until one teacher noticed their hidden potential and reminded them they were capable of achieving greatness. Those simple words became the turning point of their lives. The world often celebrates success, but rarely notices the person who planted the first seed of belief. Real education is not about memorizing facts. It is about teaching people how to think, solve problems, respect others, and never stop learning. That invisible influence continues for generations, because every student eventually touches the lives of many others. This is why the true value of a teacher cannot be measured by salary or awards. It is measured by the dreams they awaken and the futures they quietly create. Behind every remarkable achievement, there is often a teacher whose name the world may never know, but whose influence will never disappear. That's the real legacy of a great teacher. One believing teacher. A single teacher can completely change the direction of a student's life. Long before success becomes visible, there is often one person who notices hidden potential that no one else can see. Psychology shows that belief from a trusted mentor strengthens confidence, reduces fear, and encourages people to attempt goals they once considered impossible. This is why one encouraging sentence from a teacher can remain in someone's mind for decades. Every successful doctor, engineer, lawyer, entrepreneur, or scientist was once a student searching for guidance. While the world applauds achievements, it rarely sees the classroom where confidence was first built. Great teachers do not simply deliver information. They teach resilience after failure, discipline during challenges, and hope during moments of doubt. They understand that education is not only about grades, but also about developing character, responsibility, and the courage to keep moving forward. Many people remember the exact teacher who inspired them to dream bigger than their circumstances. That inspiration becomes a lifelong source of motivation. A teacher may never witness every success created by their lessons, yet their influence quietly continues through every life their students touch. This creates a powerful chain of positive change that reaches families, communities, and future generations. The greatest teachers leave behind something far more valuable than certificates or awards. They leave confidence, purpose, and the belief that ordinary people can achieve extraordinary things. That is why one teacher who truly believes in a student can become the beginning of a lifetime of success. Teachers' invisible power. Every great achievement begins long before the world notices it. Behind remarkable success, there is often a teacher whose influence remains invisible. Psychology explains that people grow faster when someone believes in their abilities before they believe in themselves. A great teacher does exactly that. They recognize hidden talent, encourage curiosity, and replace fear with confidence. Their words may last only a few seconds, but their impact can last a lifetime. Every doctor treating patients, every engineer designing cities, every lawyer defending justice, and every leader inspiring others once depended on a teacher who patiently guided them through failure and uncertainty. The world usually celebrates the final result, yet it rarely remembers the person who helped create it. Real education is much deeper than books, exams, or grades. It teaches discipline, responsibility, critical thinking, kindness, and the courage to face difficult situations without giving up. These qualities shape a person's future far more than memorized facts. A truly great teacher understands that every student has unique strengths waiting to be discovered. Instead of creating perfect students, they create confident human beings who continue learning throughout life. Their influence spreads from one student to another generation, creating endless positive change across society. Although many teachers never become famous, their work lives on through every life they transform. The strongest legacy is not built with money or power. It is built by helping others discover their purpose. That silent influence is the invisible power of every truly great teacher. Lessons beyond class. The greatest lessons in life are rarely found in textbooks. They are learned from teachers who inspire students to think differently, believe in themselves, and never stop growing. Psychology tells us that people remember emotions far longer than information. This is why students often forget a lesson from a book, but never forget a teacher who changed the way they see themselves. A great teacher does more than prepare students for exams. They prepare them for life. They teach resilience after failure, patience during difficult times, honesty when no one is watching, and confidence when self-doubt appears. Every successful doctor, engineer, lawyer, scientist, or entrepreneur carries these invisible lessons into the real world. Their achievements are built not only on knowledge but also on character. Shaped inside a classroom, the world usually notices the success but overlooks the teacher who helped create it. Every encouraging word, every thoughtful correction, and every moment of guidance becomes part of a student's future. That influence continues as students grow into adults who inspire others in return. Education is not simply the transfer of facts. It is the transformation of minds and hearts. The best teachers never force greatness. They awaken it. They help students discover abilities they never knew they had. Years later, students may forget specific lectures, but they will always remember the teacher who believed in them when they needed it most. That quiet influence becomes a lasting legacy, proving that the greatest classrooms do not only build careers, they build extraordinary human beings. The first believer. Before the world recognizes success, there is often one person who believes in it first, a teacher. Psychology explains that confidence grows when someone trustworthy sees potential that we cannot yet see in ourselves. For many students, that first believer is not a celebrity, a wealthy person, or a powerful leader. It is a teacher who notices ability hidden beneath fear, mistakes, and self-doubt. A few encouraging words at the right moment can completely change the direction of a person's life. Every doctor healing patients, every engineer solving problems, every lawyer defending justice, and every scientist making discoveries once depended on someone who encouraged them to keep learning. Great teachers understand that education is not only about passing exams. It is about building character, curiosity, discipline, and resilience. They know that failure is not the end, but an opportunity to become stronger. While society celebrates achievements, it often forgets the classroom where those dreams first began. A teacher may never receive public recognition for every successful student, yet their influence continues through every life those students touch. This creates a powerful chain of positive change across families, communities, and future generations. Real success is never built alone. Behind every confident professional stands someone who inspired them to believe they were capable of more. That is the true power of education. A teacher does not simply share knowledge. They awaken purpose, strengthen courage, and plant dreams that continue growing long after the final lesson ends. That is why every great journey often begins with one teacher who believed first. A teacher's gift. The greatest gift a teacher can give is not perfect grades, but the confidence to believe in a brighter future. Psychology explains that when students feel supported, their motivation, creativity, and determination become stronger. A great teacher understands that every child learns differently, and that true education is about unlocking potential, not comparing people. Every successful doctor, engineer, lawyer, scientist, entrepreneur, or leader once started as a student with questions, fears, and dreams. Along the way, someone patiently guided them through failure, encouraged them to keep trying, and reminded them that mistakes are part of learning. Those moments often become the foundation of lifelong success. The world usually celebrates achievements, but rarely sees the teacher who quietly helped make them possible. Great teachers do more than explain lessons. They teach responsibility, kindness, discipline, critical thinking, and the courage to stand up after every setback. These qualities shape lives far beyond the classroom. Years later, students may forget formulas, dates, or definitions, but they never forget the teacher who inspired them to believe they were capable of something extraordinary. That belief becomes a source of strength whenever life becomes difficult. Education is not simply about filling minds with information. It is about shaping character and helping people discover their purpose. Every lesson taught with patience and care creates a ripple effect that reaches families, workplaces, and future generations. A teacher's true success is measured not by awards or recognition, but by the lives transformed through wisdom, encouragement, and hope. That lasting impact is the greatest gift any teacher can ever give. The real legacy. A teacher's greatest achievement is not measured by awards, popularity, or years of experience. Their true legacy lives in the people they inspire. Psychology explains that positive guidance during childhood and adolescence shapes confidence, decision-making, and future success. This is why one dedicated teacher can influence hundreds of lives without ever becoming famous. Every doctor saving lives, every engineer creating new technology, every lawyer defending justice, and every entrepreneur building opportunities once depended on someone who believed in their potential. Great teachers never see students as they are today. They see who those students can become tomorrow. Instead of focusing only on grades, they develop discipline, curiosity, responsibility, kindness, and resilience. These qualities continue to guide students long after they leave the classroom. Many successful people cannot remember every lesson they studied, but they clearly remember the teacher who encouraged them during their hardest moments. A few sincere words of belief can remove fear, build confidence, and inspire a lifetime of determination. While the world celebrates visible success, the quiet work of teachers often remains unnoticed. Yet their influence spreads through every family, workplace, and community their students later touch. Education is not simply about preparing people for careers. It is about preparing them to become thoughtful, compassionate, and responsible human beings. Every generation stands on the shoulders of teachers who gave their time, patience, and wisdom without expecting recognition. That is why the real legacy of a teacher is never written in books or trophies. It is written in the lives they transform, the dreams they awaken, and the future they help create for generations to come. A teacher's influence. Long before success becomes visible, a teacher begins shaping the mind that will one day change the world. Psychology shows that the people who encourage us during our early years have a lasting impact on our confidence, decisions, and ability to overcome challenges. A great teacher understands that every student carries unique talents waiting to be discovered. Instead of judging mistakes, they use them as opportunities to teach resilience, patience, and growth. Every doctor healing lives, every engineer solving complex problems, every lawyer protecting justice, and every scientist making new discoveries once depended on someone who believed in their future. That belief became the foundation of their confidence. Great teachers never teach only subjects. They teach courage, honesty, discipline, respect, and the habit of lifelong learning. These lessons remain valuable long after classrooms are left behind. The world often praises successful people, yet it rarely recognizes the teacher whose quiet guidance helped shape their journey. Every encouraging conversation, every thoughtful correction, and every lesson delivered with care creates a powerful ripple effect that reaches future generations. Students eventually become parents, leaders, professionals, and mentors who pass those same values to others. This is how one teacher can influence thousands of lives without ever meeting them. Education is far more than memorizing facts or earning certificates. It is the process of building character, unlocking potential, and helping people discover a meaningful purpose. A teacher's greatest reward is not applause, but knowing they helped someone believe in themselves. That invisible influence becomes a lifelong gift, proving that the strongest force behind every successful society is a great teacher who never stops inspiring others. The greatest investment. Every society invests in buildings, technology, and businesses, but the greatest investment has always been a great teacher. Psychology explains that the quality of guidance a student receives during their early years shapes confidence, habits, and future decisions. A teacher does far more than explain lessons or prepare students for exams. They help young minds discover purpose, develop discipline, and build the courage to face challenges with determination. Every doctor caring for patients, every engineer designing the future, every lawyer defending justice, and every scientist making discoveries once relied on a teacher who believed in their potential. That belief often became the turning point that transformed uncertainty into confidence. Great teachers understand that true education is not about creating perfect students, but about helping ordinary people become their best selves. They encourage curiosity instead of fear, resilience instead of giving up, and integrity instead of shortcuts. These lessons remain valuable throughout life, long after textbooks are forgotten. The world celebrates successful professionals, yet it rarely notices the classrooms where those dreams first began. Every kind word, every patient explanation, and every moment of encouragement becomes part of a student's future. Those students eventually guide others, creating a chain of positive influence that reaches families, communities, and future generations. This is why the impact of one dedicated teacher can never be measured by numbers alone. Their wisdom continues living through every life they inspire. The strongest nations are not built only by wealth or power. They are built by teachers who shape minds, strengthen character, and inspire people to believe that they can achieve something greater than they ever imagined. The greatest builder. Every great nation is built long before its tallest buildings rise or its greatest inventions are created. It begins inside a classroom, where a teacher shapes the minds that will one day shape the world. Psychology explains that encouragement, trust, and positive guidance during the learning years strengthen confidence and inspire lifelong growth. A great teacher does not simply teach facts. They help students develop discipline, critical thinking, resilience, and the courage to keep moving forward after failure. Every doctor saving lives, every engineer designing the future, every lawyer protecting justice, every scientist making discoveries, and every leader serving society once depended on a teacher who believed in their potential. While success is celebrated on stages and in headlines, the teacher who helped make it possible often remains unseen. That quiet influence is one of the most powerful forces in society. Great teachers understand that every student has unique abilities waiting to be discovered. Instead of focusing only on grades, they encourage curiosity, kindness, responsibility, and the confidence to ask questions. These qualities shape not only successful careers, but also meaningful lives. Years may pass, and students may forget many lessons from textbooks, but they never forget the teacher who inspired them to believe in themselves. That inspiration becomes a source of strength during difficult moments and a guide throughout life. Education is not about filling minds with information. It is about building character, purpose, and hope. A teacher's greatest achievement is not found in certificates or awards, but in the lives transformed by their wisdom. That is why the greatest builders in the world are not those who build cities. They are the teachers who build people. The lasting impact. The true influence of a teacher cannot be measured at the end of a school year, because its greatest results appear many years later. Psychology explains that the words encouragement and guidance students receive during their learning years become part of their identity. A single teacher can replace fear with confidence, confusion with purpose, and doubt with determination. Every successful doctor, engineer, lawyer, scientist, entrepreneur, or leader once sat in a classroom wondering what their future would look like. The difference was often a teacher who saw possibilities, where others saw ordinary students. Great teachers understand that education is not only about passing exams or earning certificates. It is about developing character, responsibility, honesty, curiosity, and resilience. These qualities remain valuable throughout life and help people overcome challenges long after they leave school. While the world celebrates achievements, promotions, and awards, it rarely recognizes the teacher whose quiet support helped make those victories possible. Every lesson taught with patience, every encouraging smile, and every moment of belief becomes an invisible gift carried into the future. Those students eventually become professionals, parents, and mentors who pass the same values to the next generation. This creates a powerful cycle of positive influence that continues for decades. A teacher may never know how many lives they have truly changed, yet their impact reaches far beyond the classroom. Real success is not only about personal achievement, but about inspiring others to achieve their own potential. That is why the greatest legacy of any teacher is not written on a certificate or carved into stone. It lives forever in the hearts, minds, and achievements of every student they inspired. Every dream begins. Every extraordinary journey begins with someone who chooses to believe in an ordinary student. More often than not, that person is a teacher. Psychology explains that confidence grows when people feel supported, understood, and encouraged during the most important years of their lives. A great teacher sees possibilities that students cannot yet see in themselves. They recognize hidden talent, nurture curiosity, and remind young minds that failure is not the opposite of success, but a necessary step toward it. Every doctor healing the sick, every engineer building the future, every lawyer defending justice, every scientist discovering new ideas, and every leader inspiring change once depended on a teacher who patiently guided them through uncertainty. The world applauds their achievements, yet it rarely remembers the classroom where those dreams first took shape. Great teachers do much more than teach lessons. They build confidence, strengthen character, encourage discipline, and inspire kindness. These qualities become the foundation for a meaningful and successful life. Years may pass, but students never forget the teacher who believed in them when they doubted themselves. That belief becomes a source of courage whenever life presents new challenges. Education is not about creating perfect grades. It is about helping people discover their purpose and use their abilities to make the world a better place. A teacher's influence continues through every decision, every achievement, and every life their students later touch. This silent chain of inspiration reaches far beyond one classroom and one generation. That is why every great dream, every remarkable success, and every better future truly begins with a teacher who chose to believe first.